Yo, this is something I just got to get up off my chest. The process is uncomfortable to the point, yeah, sometimes I want to throw in a towel. Yeah, sometimes I want to call it quits. Yes, sometimes I want to walk away. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna lie to you because I ain't finna lie to myself. Sometimes I'm just like, I didn't expect this. What have I got myself into? I don't want to do this no more. But we can't quit. And I was sitting here thinking, I was sitting here thinking like people talk about the promise, they talk about the blessings, they talk about the breakthrough, but nobody talks about the process and what it takes to get there. Nobody talks about that. Nobody put that on their vision board. Nobody. And so I really feel like that's one of the reasons why we struggle because this journey is just not what we expected it to be. It's not. It's uncomfortable. It's painful. It stretches you. It's a lot. It's a lot. One thing my first lady always says, it's easy to serve the devil and it's hard to serve in the kingdom. It is. It is. And not just speaking about, being in church, being a Christian, being serving in the kingdom, but let's just talk about life. Whether you starting a business, whether you starting a YouTube, whether you starting a new job, you going to school, the process to get to where you trying to go is hard, it's uncomfortable, it's tough. But we can't quit. We can't. So maybe you watching this video and you like, man, I feel like quitting. I feel like throwing in the towel. I feel like walking away. Maybe that's you. Because I have my moments where I go through that too. And we don't feel like quitting and throwing in the towel because God has told us to stop. No, it's because this journey is not what we expected. It's not. I guarantee you, 9 times out of 10, if we would have known half the things we would have to go through to be entrepreneurs, to be YouTube content creators, to to get that degree, to get promoted on that job, half of us we wouldn't even start the journey. We wouldn't because we'd be like, nah, I ain't gonna go through. I ain't going through all that. I wouldn't. There's a lot of things I probably would not have accomplished if I would have known what I had to go through. So yes, I feel like quitting sometimes. Yes, I feel like throwing in the towel. Yes, I feel like walking away. But don't quit. If I can't quit, you can't quit. We not quitting. We not. But I want you to think about this. What do you I ask myself this question a lot. What do you do for real when growth doesn't feel like what you thought it would be? Because growth is not exciting. And so a lot of times when I'm growing through something and I am accomplishing things and I see growth in areas where I was weak in, I stop and I ask myself, okay, Lysandra, growth don't feel like what we expected, it to feel like. So what we gonna do? Are we gonna push through? Are we gonna sit here and sob in our uncomfortableness? No, we're not. So ask yourself that. And then after you be honest with yourself with the answer, give yourself some grace because growth is not exciting. Growth will have you out here looking, people won't understand. You'll be misunderstood. Growth will have you being outstretched. Growth will have you doing the right thing over and over and over without seeing immediate results. I'll be lying to you. I will be lying to you if I said this process was easy. This has been a season. This has been a journey from spiritual to physical. I'm talking about both. And if you're experiencing the same exact thing as me, I know you feel my pain. Drop in the comments, I feel your pain. Because I need to know I ain't going through this by myself. And so, yes, 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 let's be honest. Let's talk about the outcome. Let's talk about the outcome after the process because we have to go through the process because the process is necessary. But let's be honest. When we do get through, because there are some things that you just have already accomplished, you have already grown in certain areas, right? But think back on it. Think back on how you are in love with the outcome from that process. Although you hated that process, think about the things that you have, the outcome of that process, right? And how you just in love with the results, right? Because we love having strong faith. But yet, we hated the season that we had to go through that developed our faith. We don't want the seasons that's going to develop what we're asking for, but yet we want strong faith. We want to have wisdom, but we don't want the lessons that comes with it. We want patience, but we don't want to wait. Sometimes we're praying for things that we can only receive if we go through the process because we must be developed. Some things that we are praying for can only come through development, through the process. The process is necessary, although it hurts. Although I want to put my boxing gloves on and go toe to toe, head to head, neck to neck with the like for real. We can't quit. We can't quit. We can't quit. Because just because it's uncomfortable doesn't mean we outside of God's will. No. A lot of times when you're going through a season and you're on a journey and it's uncomfortable and you know you're doing everything right, you are right where God wants you to be. You are right where He can do what He needs to do. So don't quit. Just because it's challenging, it doesn't mean that you are failing. Things are going to be challenging. Things are going to be hard. Nothing that I have accomplished, nothing that I have succeeded has been easy. It always came with challenges. It always came with a process. And majority of us should be used to going through processes because we ask God for so much to where we are getting lessons. We are going through. God is giving us lessons. God is causing us to have to go through seasons that develop us. So some of us will be used to going through the process. But let me be honest. Every level, every process is different because once you succeed at one level, boom, you executed it. You just been promoted to another level, to another lesson, to a different process. But every process brings growth. You cannot go through the process and not come out stronger, not come out wiser, not come out better than you was before. You just can't. The process is necessary, but it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. A lot of us are tired and we want to quit, but we can't and we ain't and we won't. So don't, I like that. But I'm serious. I'm serious. You cannot throw in the towel. You cannot give up. You can't. I'm not gonna let you. I'm not gonna allow you. And I know I'm going through it. I know you probably going through it. So let's go through it together. We not quitting. You can't quit. So what is challenging? So what is uncomfortable? So what is you don't see no evidence? Evidence don't come immediate. Results don't come right when you want them to. No, it takes time. It takes time. And a lot of times, if I must say this, I have wanted to throw in the towel. I have wanted to give up. I have had my days, a lot of days. I still have my days. I have even questioned if what I'm doing is worth it. But we cannot quit. We cannot quit. Why? Because we are building something. We are building something that's greater than us. And a lot of times when we feel like God is not moving, God is not working, God is doing some amazing things behind the scenes, but we will never see what He is doing behind the scenes. Why? Because we're ready to quit and we're ready to throw in the towel. Think about it. How many entrepreneurs you have known that have started a business? How many people you know have started going to school? How many people you have known have started YouTube and they threw in the towel? They threw in the towel because it was uncomfortable. They threw in the towel because it was challenging. They threw in the towel because they wasn't seeing immediate results. But then you look at the ones that did go through the process and that did keep fighting, did keep putting one foot in front of the other, and now they succeeding. Now they have that degree. Now their business is thriving, is successful. Now they a big YouTube content creator, And you think you finna quit and you didn't came this far? Nah, boo. Nah, boo. Nah, boo. You can't quit. I can't quit. We ain't doing that. Don't quit. No matter how the process is uncomfortable, but you cannot quit. I'm gonna keep saying it. Don't quit because this is probably this this is something you probably needed to hear. You cannot quit. Yes, you may be in a season that's uncomfortable. Yes, you may be tired. Yes, you may be frustrated. Yes, you may be wondering if this worth it. You may be wondering all these things, but you can't quit. Why? Because the season is developing you. The season is developing you. God brought you to this process so that you can grow through it. You have to go through it so that you can grow through it. You have to. You have to. You have to. You have to. Anytime God is developing you, you're going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to feel outstretched. You're going to feel challenged. Anytime God is developing you, you're going to go through all those things. It's not going to be an easy breezy walk in the park. Never will. Never have. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. So you cannot quit. You can't quit in the middle of what God is doing. You can't quit in the middle of what God is building. You can't quit. You can't quit before the lesson is learned. Come on now. God done sent the lesson. You almost through the lesson, but yet you want to throw in the towel. No, you better hang in there because 9 times out of 10, you throw the towel in now, God gonna send the exact same lesson. It may not be now, but you're gonna eventually have to go back through it. So go ahead and knock it out. Go ahead and go through the process so that you can see some fruits produced from the process. It's necessary. It's necessary. You can't quit before you see growth. You just can't. Yes, growth is not exciting. Yes, it's different. It's different when you elevate to a different season, a different journey, a different process. Everything you ask for comes with a different process. It does. But it's necessary. It's necessary. Think about this. I'm always thinking outside the box because I'm always trying to compare, look at things from a different perspective, look at things from a different angle. I'm always doing that, right? A seed that's put in the dirt is not buried. It's planted. And it don't stop growing because it know what it will produce after the process. Everything have to go through a process. Everybody have to go through a process. Look at yourself as a seed that's in the ground, a seed that's in the dirt. Maybe you're not buried, you're planted. And after the process, you're going to sprout up and be beautiful. You're going to sprout up and be successful. You're going to sprout up and do great things. But you won't see it if you throw in the towel. You will never see what God is doing behind the scenes if you throw in the towel right now. We're not doing it. So don't quit. Don't quit. Don't quit. I can go on and on and on, but I'm gonna wrap this thing up. Drop in the comments if you are going through a season, if you are experiencing an uncomfortable process. Drop in the comments. We may not be going through the same thing, but we can show help push each other. Drop in the comments so we can help encourage each other. Drop in the comments. Let me hear you. Let me hear you. I love engaging. So as always, stay faithful. Keep growing. Don't quit. Don't throw in the towel. And watch God take you to the process, but grow you through the process so that you can be beautiful, so that you can be successful, so that you can go beyond what your brain and what your mind could even imagine or think. Finish the process. It's uncomfortable, but don't quit.